With 7 years of track record for finding the best talents in the consulting industry in India, the KPMG International Case Competition title is one of the most coveted for any business school student. With over 3,500 students from 21 B schools vying for a chance to represent India in the global finale in Lisbon, Portugal, this year the competition was bigger, better and more difficult than ever. The case study was challenging as ever, with the teams having to come up with a crisis management strategy for luxury Dubai parks and resorts.
Today's unpredictable world, a business model is incomplete without taking into account uncertainties. We need to be ready of any crisis that comes our way. Dubai Parks is currently facing one such crisis right now. The low leverage position that is available to us gives us the ability to absorb short-term losses. Also, we've analyzed that protection of reputation and long-term shareholder value should be the guiding principle for decision making during a time of crisis.
So this was our take on what Dubai Parks and Resorts should be currently doing to resolve the current scenario and how they can be prepared for any crisis in the future. However, we would like to work with you on the finer aspects of this plan to help Dubai Parks and Resorts stay true to its vision of being a global premier entertainment destination for the foreseeable future. Thank you.
The question that I have is, what is, if any, association with regulatory agencies, because eventually your response cannot be independent of what the regulatory agencies might insist Dubai Parks to do?
Regulations have always been there. It is about compliance that is an issue. We feel that this is the part where we have taken into account of how these rules will be implemented.
I'm Nikita Chakraborty, Sujit Emmanuel, Aishwarya Vishwanathan and Vijay Lakshmi Natarajan. Dubai Parks and Resorts. It's a very beautiful vision of having 6 different experiences under one roof. But what we are trying to solve here is the crisis. The solution we propose here is a simple formula of integration of 3 most important things in any organization: process, people and technology. And we are trying to integrate it from something as simple as standardization at the basis, where you have your people, processes and technology at the most standard level, and taking it to customization. Customization based on your risk, customization based on your customer's requirement, and so on. We are consultants. We do thrive on uncertainty. And the last part being is, obviously KPMG as a brand gets to you a lot of different things, a lot of different expertise and experience to the table, which very few consulting companies can come up with. Thank you.
What role, if any, would the board of directors play in the pre, during and post crisis? If you could throw some light on that.
We have an IT solution where everything is captured. So we'll be giving them reports, regular reports on what has happened, what kind of mitigation factors have been taken for them. At these kind of junctures where we want the board of directors to get in the picture and say what, like the CEO, you went wrong and you need to be fired from your role for this role. So that is the kind of role we want for the board of directors.
Since it's the onset of summer, it's a great time to talk about theme parks. And we at KPMG are excited to work with you to provide you a proposal for crisis management. So we've identified 2 different scenarios. One is a pre-crisis scenario and one is a post-crisis scenario. In the pre-crisis scenario, we have provided solutions in order to prevent a crisis, to plan for a crisis, or recognize a crisis before it becomes a crisis. In the post-crisis scenario, we've defined solutions in order to contain a crisis, in order to resolve a crisis, or in order to recover from a crisis and establish our rapport with our stakeholders.
While concluding, I would like to say KPMG is known to lead by example, and we believe in giving long-term working relationships with our clients. And that is why possibly we have a customer satisfaction of 88% of our CEOs as reported by Global CEO Outlook. Thank you.
As someone who looks at the operations of this company, but in this case, I don't think it was a failure of the system and process identifying the issue. Do you believe there was something else at play, and what are your views in terms of addressing some of that?
So what the system helps us do is, as I said, if there are isolated, events or eventualities in various sectors of the park, it puts together, collates together and says, at the entirety of it, is it actually an impending risk? So we have other solutions as well. So one of it, in terms of roles, was creating a chief safety officer. So given the fact that he's more into compliance and the safety aspects of the park itself, he will have to make sure that his onus or the work area for him is just safety and nothing else, because he has nothing vested in the company itself, unlike the CEO, though ironically he is into operations.
What is Dubai Parks and Resorts vision? They want to become a world-class attraction and they want to be a firm of global repute. They're focusing on the Middle East and Indian subcontinent currently, and the strategy further on is to expand their global reach, attract more customers. We will be looking at the situation in hand, the crisis which has happened because of the steel quality, and we'll be analyzing the basic hits it is going to take on our organization. So there are 3 basic aspects right now. There is an operational loss we are anticipating. Financial losses, if we do not meet our criteria of making all the parks work by April 2017, we are going to default on loans. And the most important loss that we are facing right now is a reputational hit.
So what we're looking to do here is we're looking at all the aspects of a value chain and we're trying to digitize them as much as possible. Looking at the long-term way to actually mitigate the risk of safety, we want to look at digital. And finally, managing customer perception about our safety is a big risk as well.
If you had to choose reputation versus financial, which one would you choose?
We would be maintaining reputation, because as far as the financials are concerned, in case the reputation is not maintained in the long term, we would anyways be losing out on customers, so the revenue loss would be sustained, and there is no way, like if the reputation is lost, there is no way we can actually get the revenue lost.
Our primary step would be reaching out to the agencies and external stakeholders and telling them about the situation. If it trickles down to the CEO that there was some lapse from the CEO, we would not be afraid to fire him. If that is a decision taken by the board of governors, we would take that step.
We're the team of consultants from KPMG, and I'm Rahul, and today with me I have my team, Sahil, Aprajita, and Ashish. We'll walk you through with our analysis of the problem that Dubai Resorts and Parks has at hand. So just to set motivation and understand what this problem is, we looked at the implications of a crisis. And a crisis, essentially, if we were to divide the implications, these are financial and reputational implications.
Going on to the recovery part. So in the recovery, we would just recalibrate the entire thing, go on for certification inspections, and see if the vendor checks can be done.
How a crisis management can be managed pre, during, post. But what I need to do immediately is not very clear, so you could just illustrate that.
So, like you said, we've emphasized a bit more on the big picture, how the framework in general will work. We'll go upfront in the public and say, yes, there has been a problem on our side, there has been a test ride which has failed. Maybe not give out the complete details, what happened back at our side, but yes, the test ride has failed and it was in one of the non-operational parks. So we'll do a recalibration exercise again. That's what our recommendation is to the Dubai parks. In terms of resolve, what we'll do is we'll go back to our supplier. First, try and figure out if there was a contractual clause which says that he can be penalized or he should bear the financial losses that will accrue to us. So this is in terms of resolve, and if he is found guilty, then find a new vendor. And again, for the first 3 months, you just operate on less load, because these are the high peak months and you need to meet your financial obligations. And when there's a lean period, then you do the whole repair work, and you refurbish the whole steel work in the amusement parks.
Firstly, we'd like to thank you for giving KPMG the opportunity to engage with you on this assignment. Based on the discussions that we've had with you and your employees over the past few days, we've come up with a set of key recommendations that we'd like to present to you now during the course of this steerco.
Under prevention and planning, stringent quality standards and rules under quality enforcement can help us plan and avert a disaster or a crisis better. Under recognizing, again, having frequent periodic quality checks can help us recognize crisis better and act proactively. Moving on to post-crisis management, under containment, the first priority should be on legal as well as PR handling, because that is of prime importance. Moving on to resolving and repairing, followed by recovery, we see that financial analysis is extremely important, as has been discussed before. Further, PR and HR management becomes critical because we need to ensure trust both within the organization as well as outside.
If you go to your slide on risk analysis, if I'm not mistaken, the assessment on the people-related risks were the lowest impact. I'd like to understand that from you, if you have understood the reason for the lapse in the situation we are in today. How and why is the HR risks the lowest? if you really have got to the heart of what our problem was?
So when we talk about HR risk, we talk very specifically about employees within the organization and the kind of implications that these kind of threats would have on them in particular. And obviously, while there is some amount of impact, we think in comparison, relatively to the other kinds of perspectives that we're presenting in front of you today, the HR will be relatively lesser.
Okay,
so we
let me
definitely
interrupt again.
Sure.
I don't mean employees.
Right.
Let me then ask you, where is something around the culture of our organization sitting, and where is that as one of the levers that you want to assess on if at all, as consultants?
Sure. We don't think that focus needs to be very specifically given to one stakeholder, which is the consumer. No, obviously not putting them to dire harm, but in terms of maintaining the interests of the other stakeholders as well, which is the employees who might lose jobs or the investors who might lose a lot of money that they've invested into our company. Therefore, we think in terms of upholding our value system, our main focus is striking a fine balance between what we can cater to in terms of all our stakeholders. And here, this is where we uphold our values by giving the kind of recommendations that we're giving today.
Helping the participants uncover their potential was the team of judges. The seasoned jury had the tough job of ensuring that only the top teams made the cut, and their expectations from the presenting teams were high.
So as a KICC judge, what we are essentially looking for, I think 2 or 3 things. Number one, you're not looking for right or wrong answers, but you're essentially looking at the response and the logical approach. For me personally, how people articulate, define the problem and articulate the solution is far more important, whether these are right or wrong answers. I think one thing that has come, or I was struck by the people or the students that presented, is the diverse background, from having people who have been lawyers and bringing in very different perspective to somebody who is traditional engineer. I think the awareness of the students and the response has been great.
For me as a judge as such, I think it's a lot of work, but a lot of fun also in terms of connecting with the younger talent of our country. And for consulting and professional services organizations like us, our only and the large primary asset is our people. So it also gives us interact with the younger people, the talent of the country. And personally for me also, it kind of brings me back for a little while to the B school days when I was in the campus. So overall it's a fun, lot of learning and good interaction.
You bring in the best of worlds inputs into these case studies to which the students are exposed to, and it gives them an opportunity to go and challenge themselves with the best of students globally. And in this time, the winning team will be going to Lisbon in Portugal to challenge themselves with what we have in terms of the best of students from other places, other B schools globally.
As a judge, it is always a challenge in identifying who the best team is. Clearly, what we look for is clarity of thought, the ability to communicate, conviction of ideas that are presented, the ability to deal with stress and pressure, and of course, your ability to serve a client's needs through a compelling proposition that they put forth.
The sought-after business school case study competition was attended by industry experts acing in their line of business. Aditya Ghosh, director of Indigo Airlines, took to the dais to give life lessons to future consultants sitting among the audience. Meanwhile, the panel of judges decided which team among the 6 would represent India at the finale in Lisbon, Portugal.
The airline business is a very plain, old, boring business. It's been around for over 100 years. So it's not like we discovered the new Apple iPhone 10 years ago and there is something innovative about it. The innovation is in trying to chase down those 1,000 things in our business and try and pursue excellence in each one of them, which makes it just a little bit different from all the other airline businesses which have been around for a long period of time and as well as in India. The moment you become a leader, there is a burden of success that comes. And there are 2 risks to us as individuals and as an organization. So what are our 2 biggest risks? Our 2 biggest risks are complacency and arrogance. Remember, we are twice the size of our nearest competitor. If we get focused on that, we will definitely become complacent. And if you drink too much of our Kool-Aid, you'll become arrogant. Whether you have 100 planes or 129 planes, it's a number that only makes us feel good. You want to know whether your Indigo flight is going to be on time, consistent, clean, with your bags safely. And that's that focus that makes, I think, great businesses and great success stories. And that's why it's so important to stay grounded. You know, in our world, we say the only way to fly high is to stay grounded. Don't let ego come in the way of wisdom. So finally, why are we able to do what we are able to do? We fly the same airplanes, same fares, same airports, same fuel charges, same taxes, everything. Because each one of us at Indigo is chasing a dream. That dream has nothing to do with Indigo. It has nothing to do with Indigo. When we go off to sleep at night, we don't think of Indigo. People are dreaming about the house they want to buy, the holiday they want to send their parents to, the school they want to send their children to. And if every day 14,000 people are coming into work chasing their individual dream, and they know that every day that they spend at Indigo will somehow get them a little bit closer to that deeply personal dream of theirs, Indigo takes care of itself. And that's the last thought I would like to leave you with. Think about it. What's your dream? What's that deeply personal dream? And the job that you do should just help you get ahead and hopefully within this lifetime help you fulfill that deeply personal dream. Thank you.
The 4-month-long rigorous journey of KPMG International Case Competition came to an end with IIM Kozhikode chosen to represent India at the global finale.
KICC is a great platform for students planning to pursue a career in consulting. This competition, distinct format, fast-paced structure, coupled with mentoring from KPMG professional, provides a great opportunity for every student to test their ability to develop innovative and real-world business solution in a very challenging and exciting and learning environment.
The KPMG International Case Competition left all the participants with an experience that will serve them well in their corporate careers.
Participating in a B-School challenge is a great applied learning experience, and I think it takes a lot more than just problem solving in order to win. It takes collaboration, it takes diversity in the team, it takes real passion, it takes pride to solve the problem, and in the end a lot of sleepless nights.
The kind of exposure that we got to the profession of consulting at KICC has been extraordinary. Not only did we get to work on real-life simulations across sectors, across industries, but also got feedback from industry stalwarts. The fact that they judged us on a whole range of criteria like content, presentation, time management, prepared us for future life as a consultant. I think the experience has been worth all the effort.
Our mentors and judges actually helped us guide our presentations more into depth than the brief.
The best thing about KICC is that we get a time period of 3 hours in which we read the case, ideate, come up with a solution and prepare a client solution for the same. What this does is it brings into play important aspects like teamwork, time management and pressure handling, which makes it all the more interesting.
To talk about the entire KICC journey, it was really a great one. The cases evolved over a period of time. It was really fun doing and interacting with new set of people, new set of teams that we met during our regionals and national finals. And it was also, as a team, we evolved, we learnt a lot together, and with the collaborative efforts, that is something I would say is a takeaway from this entire journey.
So the biggest learning that we had in this competition was about how a consultant really thinks. Given the paucity of time and the expectations from what a consultant really has to do, we've explored a lot in terms of business and also what's needed from each of us as an individual, and also it has helped us explore team dynamics between us. So this was an opportunity of sorts, and we thank KPMG for it.
The case competition is all about giving them real problems to deal with, problems to find solutions for, simulating it in as close to the real world as possible. Given feedback we've seen over the years, we know the students love it. It gives them a chance not just to understand what we as consultants deal with when we're working with clients across the world, but it gives them an opportunity to network amongst themselves, amongst peers, allows them to network with KPMG, understand KPMG better, so that as and when they make their career choices, they're making that much more of a calculated and thought through choice. Like I said, it's our way of investing and getting the talent pool of the future ready for corporate India. It's something we are truly excited about and look forward to doing this year on year. And as I look at how the competition has evolved over the years, I can clearly see a difference in the talent pool itself. Their awareness of corporate situations, of the macroeconomy, of technology and how that's disrupting the business world, that awareness clearly comes through in the solutions they're putting through. I actually can see confidence levels actually move up a few notches, and it may seem early to say, but I actually believe that this young talent is quite ready for the real world.